Katie's already messed up. Here we go. We are live. We're live, Phil.
All right.
I didn't do the intro transition as smooth as I would have liked. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Katie?
Good. Hey, what's our theme for tonight?
Our theme tonight is Harry Potter. More specifically, the Harry Potter movies. And we will be ranking them from best to worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So,
Yep.
that's
And
what we're going to be doing tonight.
what are the rules on how we're going to rank them based on the books? What do you think we need to be doing?
Well, this is going to be our own personal opinions. So we aren't really like reviewing them. It's just personally the order how we like them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna, a lot of factors can come into that. I mean, we're ranking the movies, but you can't help but compare them to the books a little bit, especially if you read the books first and then the movies came along. But I mean, it's also going to entail, our viewing experience when we first saw them, emotional attachment. I mean, all kinds of different factors. So, yeah, everybody, I'd be interested to see how many people in our audience kind of agree with us and how they would rank them personally. Yeah. Like I said, this is totally going to be our own personal, and we haven't discussed this, like where we rank each one. So it's going to be a surprise. I don't know how you're going to rank any of these, and you don't know how I'm going to rank them. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
It will be super interesting. That will be interesting. What our results are will be interesting, and how much I screw up this live stream with all the graphics and everything will also be interesting.
Well, that's okay. Hey, it's our first time out doing a live stream.
Well, and we've got a new logo that has a lightning bolt in it.
Yep.
So it all ties in. I think I'm glad that we're doing our first episode when we've got a new logo with Harry Potter themes in it, and so that's really exciting. So before we get started on the ranking of the movies, we can point out you can point out the Hogwarts or Harry Potter stuff in your room, and then we'll also check out some mugs that we might have.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I have Cedric Diggory right up there. Too soon.
Very apropos, Phil. Very apropos.
Yeah. I don't know. My goodness, if you can see my whole office, there's a lot of Harry Potter stuff in here. But I have framed Hufflepuff crest that someone got me one of my friends got me for Christmas.
Nice.
And then I also there's Hedwig.
Yeah, and then the post for you.
He did, and I have my Newt Scamander wand.
There you go.
And then I have actual Hufflepuff crest up there. And I have a couple of Harry Potter games. Hogwarts Battle and Munchkin Harry Potter.
Awesome. Well,
and several books and different things.
I record in my music / office room, so I don't have a ton of like movie stuff up here, but I did bring up my Harry Potter movie poster from downstairs from my movie theater.
Very nice.
I've got up my Hufflepuff, crest here that my sister got me, that a friend of hers made. Her husband cuts the wood and everything, and I think he paints it. And then she has a cricket that cut out the Hufflepuff shield. So
that's cool.
I've also got my here it is. To keep me warm, I've got my Hufflepuff blanket.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, I got my Gryffindor shirt. She said I was going 90s grunge tonight.
Yeah. Well, obviously, both of us are Hufflepuff. That's our house we got sorted into. Yeah. And I think Hufflepuff suits my personality very well. Oh, yeah. But I'm borderline. Most people are. They kind of can fit into two different houses. Nobody's probably 100% one house. Do you know what your borderline house is?
borderline Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, because here's also I might have a little tinge of Slytherin because on Pottermore I was sorted into Gryffindor like 3 or 4 times, and I was mad. I wanted Hufflepuff.
Well, the sorting hat won't put you into a house if you're really adamant against it.
Right.
It's like Harry, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, not Slytherin.
Right. Not Gryffindor, not Gryffindor. I don't want to be Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I want to be Hufflepuff. I want all the cookies. But no, I don't think I'm courageous. I don't feel like I am the attributes that a Gryffindor has. And I want to be a Hufflepuff. So.
Well, that's funny because Neville really, I think I read somewhere, maybe on Pottermore or someplace, that he really felt that he should be in Hufflepuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he ended up in Gryffindor because, obviously he didn't feel like he was brave, but he stood up to his friends.
Right.
And in the end, he
finished it all.
He could have been Harry Potter. I mean, he could have been, the prophecy was down between him and Harry, and it could have easily been him.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, just because you don't feel brave doesn't mean you aren't brave.
Well, and he had all the plant knowledge and wanting to learn plants, and that's a total Hufflepuff.
Yeah. My other house is Ravenclaw.
Oh, that makes sense. Books and knowledge and information. Yep.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So,
yes. All right. Well, let's show off our drinking vessels.
Okay.
What do you have, Phil?
I have. You might recognize this. I'm not sure. I have St. Mungo's.
I got you that.
You did give me that. You did.
For
many years ago.
Yeah, for finishing finals.
No, that's right. Well, when I got into.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's
I passed
awesome.
my admission test. Yeah. So.
Well, mine isn't as on theme because I did use my my cauldron mug on the other one on another episode. But
yeah.
Just pretend this is Dobby. Okay.
Okay.
I have a Jawa mug.
Oh, okay.
And this, I did not get it there, but it apparently comes from Galaxy's Edge. So just pretend this is Dobby.
Oh, okay.
And he's got the ears.
Looks like Dobby. Oh, they're under the robe.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what would make that mug twice as awesome if the eyes lit up. If they lit up. Yeah.
It would.
Well, I got a nice warm mug of badger milk.
Of badger milk? What specific type of badger milk do you have, Phil?
It's a honey badger.
It's the most aggressive.
Yes.
All right.
It's not in English.
Let's get into our rankings, okay? So we have some fancy little graphics we're going to use. And Phil, would you like to explain how we are ranking? I have the tier up there right now.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 5 different tiers, and the cream of the crop, the perfect movie would be the top tier, and that's Expecto Patronum. And much like the spell, this contains some of your happiest memories. Yeah. So this is like, out of all the movies, this is top of the line, golden standard. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next, the red tier, the second one is Reparo. And it's almost perfect. It just needs a few fixes. The next tier, which is blue, is Confundo, which is confusing. Not bad, but also not good. So it's kind of
needs it. Yeah, you're confused. Do I like it? Do I not?
Yeah. Do I like it? Do I not like it? The next, the green level, the fourth one is Obliviate, and you wish you could forget it. And then the very last, the black, is Avada Kedavra. It's horrible. Should never existed. And when we rank these, we don't mean that actually it shouldn't exist, but maybe because it is Harry Potter. It's off the book, but they should have just gone a whole different route. They should have done a whole different version.
Or gotten rid of it and replaced it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and we were talking a little bit yesterday when we were kind of setting this up, that especially with the books, I love all the books, but you're going to have one that's your favorite and one that's your least favorite. And even though it's your least favorite, it doesn't mean that you don't love it. It's just, if you have to rank them, there's going to be some that you like more than others. And I do have a least favorite book, but I still love it. But it's just out of all of them, I would probably read that one last. Yeah. If I was going to reread them. Yeah.
All righty. Great summation. And we're going to follow all those rules and figure out where these go on our little tier here.
And it'll be interesting because I know, some of the things that are kind of popular opinion, I probably go against because I don't agree with some of the movies.
Well, which I'll kind of explain. Have you ever seen the unpopular opinion on BBC Radio? There's a game they play where it's an unpopular opinion, and the theme song goes, "Come and give us your unpopular opinion, something up till now that you've been scared to say." I can't believe I just did that. Okay, so here we go. We are going to go for the very first one, of course, is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And I actually, for a little fun thing, I have the books here. But here is my very first Harry Potter book that I got assigned in 6th grade to read. I think I even have, I have this book belongs to and then my name in it. I even have markings in here from all the assignment. Every week we had to read a chapter. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, that was an awesome teacher, man. Shout out to your teacher that had you read Harry Potter.
Mrs. King, my 6th grade teacher.
Well, let me ask you, since we're talking about the first book, how did you get into Harry Potter? Did you read the books first or did you watch the movies first?
Assignment. Mrs. King assigned the book in class, and we read them. Maybe it was a couple days. Every couple days we had to read a chapter and we had to answer questions about it. And that was the first time that I'd been given an assignment in school for reading, and I actually enjoyed it.
Okay. And so you hadn't seen the movie before?
It hadn't been made. That was 1999, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was kind of opposite for me. I hadn't read any of the books. I'd kind of heard some of the, all the talk about Harry Potter, but I went and saw Sorcerer's Stone in a theater. And then after I saw that, I went and got the books and caught up to where they were, which I think was Goblet of Fire. I think at the point that Sorcerer's Stone had come out, they were either right before Goblet of Fire or Goblet of Fire was already out. So that was my kind of initiation into it. I wasn't books first. I was movies first, which makes it interesting because, when you read a book first, you kind of form an opinion of the characters, what they look like and sound like. But if you see the movie first, when you're reading the book, you're picturing the actors that are in the movie.
I had a classmate. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I had a classmate in the same class as when I was reading the book. And he refused to see any of the films until all the books were out.
Oh, wow.
Because he didn't want that. He didn't want to have a depiction of the actors as the characters. And I think he did it. He went all that time without seeing a movie.
Holy cow. Wow.
Ross.
And then, I'm surprised it didn't get spoiled. I mean, certain things.
Well, it wouldn't be because he's reading the books first. He's never.
Well, yeah, but when the movies come out, there, of course, back then the internet probably wasn't as prevalent as it is now. I mean, now like you can't get on YouTube or anything without everything being spoiled.
Right.
I mean, you have a very small window. You need to like see it or read it. You have like maybe a day or so for yeah. So kudos to him for going years without having anything spoiled.
Well,
and speaking of which, like
go ahead.
I always thought that poster was like really like epic. The first Harry Potter, that poster that you have, it really reminds me of like the old like original Star Wars movies where you have the characters and behind. Yeah. So
I mean,
that's
that
I love.
paints the picture of the whole movie and almost the whole
Yeah,
franchise. I mean, you've got the castle up at the top and
yeah.
Hedwig flying through. So yeah, I love
And I
it.
can't see it. Don't they even have them like in one of the bottom, like left hand corner, like the boats going to, like them on the lake?
Yeah, I think right at Dumbledore's face. You can't see it. I have a
Yeah.
glare there, but I have it on the screen here, and so the viewers can see. But yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
it's pretty neat.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's like a really well done poster.
Oh.
I always like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was a unique experience for you. You, like I said, you unlike me read the book first. So what did you feel about the casting? Like, were
I mean,
you,
I
wow.
was 13 at the time, so
Well,
I honestly, when I was a little kid, I'll be completely honest, which maybe you can see it now, but I looked a little bit like Daniel Radcliffe as a kid. I had big glasses like he had, big round glasses. And so I loved it because I felt like I was Harry Potter. I was going to Hogwarts. I was being
mm,
sorted. So as a kid at that age, the casting didn't really matter to me then. And
okay.
now it doesn't really matter to me now because those are the characters for me. Because as a
Yeah.
kid, I didn't care about the casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh,
What about you?
that's fair enough. Well, with me, like I said, I saw the movie first. So when I read the books, that's who I pictured. I was just like, oh, yeah. Okay. Already, I
Which
was
is
already,
good and
I was
bad.
already tainted.
That's confundo because it's good for you because now you're
I,
not ruined by anything, but at the
I
same
am
time,
confundo.
yeah.
Much confundo.
All right, well let's get into the ranking and see if we're confundoed by
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do this where I'm going to take the movie poster, I'm going to make it small and go on the wherever on the tier that you've chosen to put it. Your choices are going to be in the color pictures, and then my choices will be black and white.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
where are you putting Sorcerer's Stone?
are we gonna see it get smaller?
Yeah, you'll see it get smaller.
Okay, because I'm gonna say reducto.
Oh,
It's
okay.
I don't have to wait for it.
And go.
Reducto.
I did it.
So I have Ron's
I have
wand.
my wand too. I forgot. All right, so
Okay.
I know that you put the first one. I don't know where your other ones are. But I
Okay.
know you put the first one on Expecto Patronum, correct?
I did. The first movie for me, Expecto Patronum. I went, it was one of those movies that came out around the holidays. I didn't know what to expect. I remember going, I think it was around Thanksgiving, and that was my gateway to Harry Potter. I mean, I liked the movie so much that I went out and got all the books that were published at that time and read them. So it was, I thought at the time it was a marvelous movie. I mean, the score was John Williams.
Yeah, you
I
can't
mean,
beat
and
that.
you can't beat it, and it's still. I mean, that soundtrack is just Hedwig's theme, like
Absolutely.
everything. I mean, it's just a wonderful score. The cast was top notch. I mean, Richard Harris as Dumbledore.
Loved it.
Yeah. You can't get any better than that. So, yep, that for me, we're gonna put it right up there in the top tier.
Okay, I am checking. Okay, I was just making sure. I really thought my audio wasn't working on here.
Oh,
We're just checking. We had a little audio issues beforehand, but
now,
go ahead.
I will say one of the negative things about it was actually the CGI doesn't hold up. Back then, it was just a little bit dodgy. But when you have the like the Voldemort at the back of his head, I mean that
Yeah.
was not super great, and the Forbidden Forest when you had the centaurs. I mean that was like really kind of cartoonish, but
Which
other
I
than
mean,
that, I
it's
mean it was
2000, 2001.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but you look at what 94 when you had Jurassic Park and almost photorealistic dinosaurs. I mean,
That's
if they would
true.
have had dinosaur running through the Forbidden Forest, just saying.
I'm surprised they didn't have dinosaurs in the Wizarding World. You'd think they would have.
Yeah.
But they have dinosaur-like creatures like dragons.
They do. And I believe that, and don't quote me on this, but I believe that even Steven Spielberg was, I think he passed up directing that, the first one. They got Chris Columbus. I'm pretty sure.
It worked out.
We'll have to look that up because I could just be telling a big fib.
But I'm pretty sure that I see that we have some comments on here, and Sarah made a comment about your Cedric in the back, and she just says, "No, Cedric." And then Pam likes my singing.
Okay.
So okay. Well, I am going to go ahead and add mine on here. Here, let's see if I can do it simultaneously. And Reducto. I put mine on Expecto Patronum too, since we're talking about it.
Okay.
I mean, Chris Columbus, and as a kid watching that, it truly was, I think, as close as you can get to real life magic.
Mm-hmm.
I was at that age where I thought that it could be real. I thought that there was a Hogwarts somewhere.
And that one in the second one, I mean, the adaptation from book to screen, it was bang on. I mean, they didn't really leave anything out, and I mean, it was just book accurate.
Well, I mean, and but I know that think about it, the width of this compared to the last one.
Yeah.
If they didn't get it book accurate, I'd be upset.
Yeah, but that is a complaint that some people have. It's just like, we read the book. I'm going to the movies. I want to see something different. And it's like, why?
Right.
It's like, why would you want to see something different if you love the book?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you? Why do you hate or not want to see an accurate representation of it?
I don't want to see someone else's depiction of a story that someone else already wrote. I mean, they sold books and we're making a movie because that was a good story.
Yes. Yeah. But believe it or not, some people are, they rank them lower because they wanted to see something fresh or something different. It's just like, don't get that, but.
Right. Also, I mean, the introduction to Quidditch I loved the Sorcerer's Stone Quidditch scene. It's just, that's exactly how I imagined it in my head.
Yeah. Yep. No, it was, they did a good job with everything. It was marvelous. It was magical.
Marvelous me. All right. And now we're going on to, because that was an easy peasy lemon squeezy one. The second one, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Ooh.
What do you think of this one, Phil?
Chamber of Secrets for me it's still on that same level, top tier. Expecto Patronum.
Ooh, it's windy outside. Expecto Patronum.
Yeah. Again, I was just say again that they did a great, a great job adapting it. Same cast, wonderful. Richard Harris, loved him. I just thought they did a good job with it. No complaints. No complaints from me.
No complaints. You know what?
No complaints.
I'm putting it under Expecto Patronum as well, because that was the first real movie movie where I got to see the characters again. And at that time, they seemed to really grow up a lot in between those two movies. So when you see Ron come in the flying car, you're like, Ron's voice dropped. It got lower.
Well, and that's the thing. You got to see these kids kind of grow up making these movies, and you can see kind of their acting ability get better and better as the movies went along. So you kind of got to grow up with them. Have you had a chance to watch the 20th anniversary special yet?
Okay. I have not, because I am afraid I'm going to cry through the whole thing. Because I cried when I went to the Leaves in Studio tour. I cried when I came around the corner and saw the actual Hogwarts. You can ask my sister. I cried. So I'm going to watch it in the next couple days. But I did watch Hogwarts Tournament of Houses.
Oh, yeah.
And that was good. Have you watched that yet?
I have not watched it in its entirety. But I'm going to, now that it's on HBO right now.
Yep. All
I'm
4
gonna,
episodes. Yeah.
yeah, I am going to binge watch that in the 20th anniversary.
Okay. I only have HBO Max until the 10th, so I have to get The Matrix and then a Harry Potter thing done before it goes away.
And Dune, have you seen Dune?
Dune's not on there anymore.
What?
Yeah, I missed it by one day. I didn't get to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was still on there.
No, it's not. And they're taking Matrix off on January 21st. So anyone who wants to watch that one, hurry up. All right. Our next movie, Prisoner of Azkaban.
I will before we move on, I will say that those two movies, the first one, the second one, to me, those are actually Christmas movies because they came out around the holidays, and I remember seeing them. Like I said, I think the first one was Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure the second one came out around the holidays as well, and then they kind of switched to summer movies after that. But all during Christmas, I kind of watched those two. It's the same with Lord of the Rings because those came out every Christmas for 3 years, and to me, they elicit memories of Christmases of past.
Whimsical Christmas.
So I will say that. All right, Prisoner of Azkaban.
When Hedwig. It's Twilight and Harry Potter put together. Hedwig. No, when Hedwig flies off Harry's, arm in the first one, and the snow. It's snow. Everything's covered in snow. It's so Christmassy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a. Yeah, classic scene. He's wearing a scarf and out there with his cloak. Okay. All right.
Where are you putting
Prisoner of Azkaban? This is where it starts spiraling out of control. No, I mean, do you want to go for me? Prisoner of Azkaban was kind of a big letdown.
Okay.
For several reasons, and like I said, this is like part of it's emotional, part of it's just like expectations weren't met. And that's what I was saying. A lot of people kind of regard this as like one of the best movies. It's their favorite. It's like, oh my gosh, it got darker. And, I like the first two because they were like, wow, exact representations of the book. They already had this, Chris Columbus had established this world with a specific look. And then, they come in and they have they get a new director and he totally changes the look, makes it darker. Of course they can't help it, but Richard Harris passed away. They had a new Dumbledore, but I'm not loving Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. I'm not. I mean, he's a great actor.
No, he's a very fine actor. But there are some roles that just don't fit some people.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I don't think he ever probably read the Harry Potter books. I mean,
no, he purposely didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he had, but coming, and I can understand as an actor, especially a big time actor coming into a role, you want to make your own mark. And you want to maybe intentionally just go the opposite direction that
you don't do it with
previous actor went. But that does not suit the character. So you have that.
We can talk about a certain scene in the next movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I mean, like Hogwarts looked totally different. It was darker. They didn't wear uniforms, which I didn't understand that because you're at school before everybody had to wear uniforms, and now they're just wearing kind of street clothes. And I get that maybe they wanted to kind of establish the characters a little bit more. Yeah. Maybe it was easier to tell them apart. Because they had their own style.
Make them look like teenagers, and teenagers don't want to iron their uniforms every day. And
sure,
yeah.
But I think you could have done that, but maybe like on Christmas break or kind of before or when they were leaving. But to me, that was just like, wow. I mean, it's like the uniforms are cool, and now we aren't wearing them anymore. I just thought it was like really, that was kind of disappointing for me. Yeah. And then they replaced replace characters like Tom, the Leaky Cauldron. I mean, here the first two movies you had, he was a proper British like gentleman running the inn, and now you've got this other guy that just like he
like a
seems
bartender.
like. Well, it's not even a bartender, but he just seems like I don't know. I don't know. He just seemed like kind of really like weird. And I guess people in the wizarding world are weird, but
really weird.
I mean, totally different characters. It was just like, wow, what happened?
Yeah. So where would you put it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going on. I'd put it under Confundo.
Okay. Let's put that there.
So to me, it's midline. But one good thing, I mean, I really like Lupin. I think they did a good job casting Lupin.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that.
There's that. The end.
Well, no, they did a good job with Buckbeak. I thought that the CGI and the models on that were really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
The CGI for Lupin's werewolf wasn't that great. And one thing, they never showed like Harry's Patronus. They never showed that it was a.
They did a stack.
Did they?
Yeah,
I didn't think. Did they really?
Yeah, they did. It was in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they didn't actually.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. He walked up to it. It was. Remember, it was on the lake, and he was like, "Well, what is that?" And they don't show it beforehand, but then they show it when he's time traveling, and he sees it in the distance.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
But that doesn't change the fact that I put it at Confundo.
You're still confused. I don't get it. All right. Well, I'm actually putting mine on Reparo because we've had a Back to the Future episode, and I love time travel. So
I do like me some time travel.
Yes, but I do agree. I mean, they had to start making it darker. It's not going to be kiddie throughout the whole series. But I would have liked the third one to have been a little bit more and not so drastically different.
Yeah. I can understand it being darker, but I mean, the whole look of it was changed. I mean, it was like you were at a different, and maybe Hogwarts is a magical place, so maybe it just kind of changes, In
the blink of an eye.
In the blink of an eye. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I mean, I liked it. What you didn't like, I was okay with the clothes because they were wearing that when they weren't in class. So I really remember distinctively, I loved Hermione's striped sweater at the end when they're in the Forbidden Forest. I loved that sweater. I wanted that sweater. Or the British would call it a jumper. But yeah, so I mean, I liked it. Now, my main pet peeve about this movie was that they left out Firenze. Is that how you say his name? The centaur?
Or Friends. Yeah.
I never know. I pronounced it Firenze whenever. Yeah. But he was the centaur that we saw in the first movie. And then he was supposed to help them with Grop in this one. And then at the Battle of Hogwarts, he was supposed to be a huge character and just nowhere to be found in the rest of the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I would repair about this movie is I put that character back in.
Okay. Well, one thing that I would obliviate from this movie.
From this specific movie?
Is like is the final
countdown.
The final shot. No, the final countdown. Europe. No, the final shot when he's like riding Buckbeak, and then all of a sudden they freeze it on that shot at the end. I'm riding the hippogriff. But then they just freeze it on his face, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good.
I know. I don't know what they were getting at with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it made us feel like that was before 3D movies.
Well, another thing too that really, and I know the books get to be like really big, and they have to cut some stuff out. But they really, I mean, I think as a key thing that they cut out was the Marauders map. I mean, they didn't. They had it, but they didn't mention that it was his dad that made it.
History of it, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Why did Lupin have it?
Yeah. So that is kind of a key part of the whole series that they created the map, and that wasn't mentioned. So
right. No, I get it. Okay, so how about for the next one? The next movie we have is Goblet of Fire. Here we go.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You sound really excited about this one.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Where's this one going for you?
I've been debating this one. I'm going with oh my goodness. You go first on this one. I'm still pondering.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah, you go first.
I don't know how to hold on. Let me figure out the graphics for this. You threw me a curveball.
Okay.
I put this one at let me make sure I put it here. Yeah, that's what I put. Confundo. So the reason I put it, I'm being very kind. The reason I put it at Confundo is because, okay, number one, very basic thing is all of the guys' hair in this movie needs to be cut. I don't know why. I know it was like Zac Efron High School Musical days, but all of their haircuts were way too long.
Actually, I thought like George and Fred, it suited them.
Yeah, it suited
I liked them with the longer hair look. Than that when they were young and they had the like real short hair, they just like looked kind of weird. But
yes. But I just the Beatles haircuts didn't work for me. And then I really was upset that they didn't have spew at all.
Yeah.
With the elves and with Hermione, and that, in the long run, that's what brings Hermione and Ron together, because he was against it and then he was for it. So I was really upset they didn't include any of that, and we didn't get to see the cafeteria under the Great Hall. I mean, I was looking forward to that. And then, but those are my main things in it. There are a bunch of other things. The further we get in these movies, which if you look how thick this book is.
Yes.
I mean, in a 2-hour movie, you're not going to get it all. But I do feel like there were some major things that they left out that should have been in. But again, I don't have the money. I'm not paying for it. But I do think that there were some things they could have left out and replaced with better things from this book.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, since you are kind,
you'll be authentic, Phil. If it sucks, it sucks.
It does suck. Oh man, I'm just like torn between. I'm like. It's straddling that line.
I'm guessing between Confundo and Obliviate, or Obliviate and Avada Kedavra.
Obliviate and Avada Kedavra.
Really?
I'm gonna give it Avada Kedavra.
Oh my!
I'm doing it.
So mean.
I'm mean. I'm not gonna be. You said no. Don't be kind. And I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, there was some good stuff about it. Like I thought they did a good job with the Yule Ball.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good, and I mean I really loved it when McGonagall made Ron dance with her, practice dance in front of everybody. That was funny.
Need those little things to build the characters. Yeah.
I like the graveyard. That was the first time we really saw Voldemort in all his glory.
Absolutely, that was the best part.
That was good. Yeah. But like there was, I mean, like for one thing, like at the beginning when they showed the Quidditch, like the tournament,
mm-hmm.
like, they showed the leprechauns, but they didn't show like the Vila, which that would have really helped establish Fleur de la Cour's character.
And the other thing about the two schools were they were not just a boys' school and a girls' school.
Right.
Both schools were supposed to have both in them.
Yeah.
So
they were. They didn't have Spew. They didn't have Winky. What's up with that? I David Tennant, man, he's like my favorite Doctor Who.
Yep. Me too, and I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, but I
love David Tennant. I think he's a great actor, but man, I did not like him in this movie. I don't know, he had this weird tick where he kept like sticking his tongue out and stuff, and I just thought that was like corny as heck.
I thought that was good because if you notice, Mad-Eye Moody would do that. So that was a tell, for people.
It kind of was, but I don't know. It didn't do it for me. He could have had another little tick. But I thought that was weird. And the whole thing, like in the dragons was good.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene with the dragons. But it's like they just pooped to bed with like the
children may be watching
with the hedge maze, the whole ending,
mm-hmm.
because they never connected the dots. I mean, it was being facilitated by Mad-Eye. Like he took control of Crumb, and and Crumb was like protecting Harry in the maze, but they cut all that out, and they never explained it at the ending, like at the end. So I mean, there was just and I know they can't get everything that's in the book.
Yeah,
they can't, but that is like.
Those are little things. You've already got the scene there. Why not add an extra second or change those few seconds to make it more book worthy?
Yeah. They didn't. Like I said, they should have gone there with the hedge maze and went. I mean, that was the big climactic
mm-hmm.
thing for the book, and they didn't explain it. They didn't explain it when they found out who Moody was, that he was facilitating all that, and he was trying to get Harry to win.
I do have to say, one of the best bits of acting in this whole series was when Cedric's dad comes out.
Yeah.
And sorry, Cedric up there. I'm so sorry, bud. But when that dad, I was crying in the theater when that happened. I think everybody was. I don't think you couldn't based on his acting.
Yeah. That was good. I mean, they had a lot of good scenes, but I just think the story kind of, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was left wanting.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to Order of the Phoenix.
All right. Actually, we kind of talked a little bit setting up yesterday, and as far as the books go, like
mm-hmm.
I love all the books, but out of all the books, this is my least favorite book.
Okay, so that does not bode well for the movie.
No, actually, it's weird because I like this movie. Like I really like Goblet of Fire, the book, but this ranks above Goblet of Fire
mm-hmm.
as far as the movie. So I would give it Reparo. Reparo for me.
Interesting, Philip. Very, very interesting.
Yep.
Well, give me a second to get it here because I'm slow. I am giving. Yeah, go for it.
Well, I was just going to say, some notable things about the movie is Dumbledore Voldemort fight in the Ministry of Magic. That was awesome. They did a really good job because I remember reading that and I was like, man, that'd be like really hard to translate that to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. I mean, they did a good job with that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Also, oh my goodness, Imelda Staunton playing Umbridge. I mean, she's just like, oh, you wanted
that was a just like gold medal.
Yeah. I mean, you just like you love to hate her. I mean, she's just like, oh my gosh. And then like Fred and George.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a good job in this. And then one thing that's like kind of bad, like again, the CGI with Grop. I didn't think that was quite on par.
Well, with Grop, the jing jing.
Yeah, that was okay, but and not to, but just like Goblet of Fire, just to step back a minute.
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves of all the movies in that is Dumbledore like screaming at Harry, "Did you put it in the cup? Did you put your name?" Yeah, totally against Dumbledore's nature. It said in the book, "Asked him calmly."
That's when
And here, I mean, he was like, I thought he was going to punch him.
Yeah, he didn't care about being true to the character at all, and that I think that's really what rubbed it the wrong way with the fans, is that you don't appreciate the role you're playing, I feel.
But don't you think that someone on the set that had read the book would actually be like, and maybe they did, maybe they're just like, whatever, we're doing our own thing,
right?
But yeah, that to me, that was just like, I can't get over that.
No, but he played the whole character throughout the whole series way too aggressively. Like that one scene in particular was the height of probably it. But the whole point about Dumbledore was that he was a feeble guy. Like he was
like a kindly grandfather.
Yes.
That it would give you a Werther's candy or a Bertie Bott's bean and be like, here you go.
But he would kick your wizarding butt if he needed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a question on here, by the way. Was a book series ever written off of a movie premise? I don't think so.
That's a good question.
I know.
Let me think about that.
You'd have everything you ever need descriptive wise. You just watch the movie and then write down what you see.
Well, okay. Yes. No, there is. Have you, Willow, there was a trilogy of books off the Willow movie.
Oh,
it was written.
Was it written after the fact, or was it written based on what had already been done?
It was they had the movie, and then they went and there was a trilogy written.
Which I guess if you're including graphic novels as well, a lot of things have been turned into graphic novels.
Yeah, and they are actually, not to be off topic, but they are. There's I think going to be a Disney Plus Willow series.
Yes, and what's his name going to be in it from our series, from this series? What's his name? The blanking. We're live and I'm blanking. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. He is. I mean, he played Willow, so.
Oh, there you go.
That's who originally played.
All right. Well, here goes I'm putting
Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis.
Yay.
Yeah, he played Grip Hook. He played. He played several. He was Wicket the Ewok. He's been in Star Wars. He's been in all the things.
He's been in all the things.
All things. Anyway, I didn't mean to, but that was the big thing I had in my notes. That's one of the big thing of Goblet of Fire, and I missed it. I had it right there in big letters. It's like, asked him calmly. But that's so I had to mention that. Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack. But
no, that's the number one thing of this movie that is 100% incorrect. And everyone
I think it's unforgivable.
Mm-hmm. It's an
unforgivable curse.
Yes. Well, I am putting Order of the Phoenix on Confundo.
Really?
Yeah, because I was okay with it. I think they got it more accurate than Goblet of Fire, but I think I was the same as you, where I was a little bit, the book might have been the most boring, because I think we talked about this yesterday, where it's like you spend this whole book to get the prophecy. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like the end, angst. When they got the prophecy, the end was completely different than the book. I remember like a room with a glass case in it, and then they fell through the floor, and there was all kinds of stuff that was missing from that scene. It was just, I mean,
the one guy,
it's been a while.
One guy, his head turned into like a baby head.
Yes, that part. Who didn't want to see that on screen?
Yeah. Well, I will say, we kind of discussed that a little bit too, as far as, Sirius, where he died. I mean, he totally died. I mean, in the book, he just fell through the veil and he was just gone. But in this, he actually got Avada Kedavra. by
Bellatrix. Yeah.
Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Bellatrix
I did not like that end scene because it just wasn't accurate to the book.
Well, and one of my biggest disappointments in that movie was Lockhart. You didn't get to see him at St. Mungo's when they went to visit. I was
That's
really
another
hoping
good part of Chamber of Secrets was what's his name playing Lockhart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Magical
Kenneth
Me.
Branagh. Yeah, Magical Me.
I'm going to go on to direct Thor. All right. So, okay. So here are some other things. I loved this movie though because we get introduced to Luna, and I think they did a very good job with the Thestrals.
The Thestrals.
Yep. And if you notice in the scene when they're getting off the carriages, one of the girls who can't see the Thestral runs into it, but it just looks like she's bumping into air.
Oh, I never noticed that. That's cool.
Yeah. Pretty neat. Ooh, my voice broke there. All right, here goes the next one, which is the Half-Blood Prince. There's Order of the Phoenix there.
Yeah. See, now Half-Blood Prince is arguably my favorite book. It's a toss-up between that and
before we move on, really quick. Order of the Phoenix. They blamed it on Cho Chang.
What did they blame?
She's not the one who told and snitched on them.
Oh yeah, that was her friend.
Yeah.
You're right. They
Marietta
did.
Edgecombe.
Yeah, and I thought the casting on Cho Chang was good. But another thing about that movie is like, and I guess it's in the book too. It's just like you got to see like teen angsty Harry. I mean, he was just like angry the whole time. It's just like I'm grumpy, So that kind of got after a while. It's just like come on.
Yeah. No, I agree, but that was probably the number one thing about that movie was Cho Chang did not tattle.
Cho Chang, yeah, that's right. She was blamed for it, but she did not.
They done her wrong.
Yeah, because I still remember that scene when they all walked when she walked out, everybody just ignored her. It's just like
I remember I was in the theater, and I think I was in the theater with Sarah, and I turned and I went, "She did not do this. Why are they doing this to her?" And then you don't hear from her again. It's just that's the end of the character in the series, right? In the movies.
Well, was she? Was she like in the last one, like with the Battle of Hogwarts?
She probably was. Everyone was there. But the next time you see her, there's no explanation as to did they forgive her? No, they didn't forgive her because she never tattled on them. That was a lie, and there was no truth serum that they used and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anywho. Yeah. Okay. Half-Blood Prince was your favorite book.
Yeah.
What?
It was like one of my. It was up there. It was like I'd have flip a coin between that and the Deathly Hallows, but man, I went back and forth on this one too because this just wasn't a good adaptation of the book. It wasn't. I had to in college. I had to write a paper, like a comparative paper, and I wrote the movie compared to the book on this. And I mean, there's just so much. And I realize you can't have everything, but there were some key points that I felt was necessary that they left out. I mean, Jim Broadbent, he was like awesome. Awesome casting.
Wait, who was that?
Oh, yeah, it's me too quick.
Who was
Slughorn?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Slughorn.
yeah. That was an awesome scene in the house when they first meet him, when the room goes back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was which I thought that was kind of weird too. Like the beginning of the movie was like Harry was just at a diner and some girl was like trying to pick him up, and then Dumbledore showed up and he's like, you aren't going out on a date tonight, Harry. But it's like,
that's the thing is they tried to make it relatable to like their audience, or what they were thinking, and it's kind of like the characters are already relatable. Just do what was in the book.
Yeah, and I mean, you think he's already kind of making googly eyes with Ron's sister at that point.
I know.
Isn't he? I mean, aren't they kind of? I mean, to me, it's just kind of like, But anyway, yeah, the rest of the story though was just, I thought it was a mess, honestly. That was the whole thing of that book is like Harry he loathed Snape.
Yeah.
And he got a hold of that book. And I mean, he was like, man, this is the best wizard ever. This guy's like awesome at like potions.
It was his
hero. He had that book. He carried it every place. He was obsessed. He was trying to figure out who it was. And I mean, and then at the end, like of the movie, you found out it's just like, oh, I'm the Half-Blood Prince right before he ran off. They didn't explain like why he was called the Half-Blood Prince. And it gave it much more gravitas like to the story. And they didn't explain, they had a little bit about Voldemort, but they didn't really explain his background.
Yeah.
How he became Voldemort.
Well, and again, we're just getting back to the fact
that his mom using a love potion. And
this book is thicker, and it gets even the next one's thicker. So the more detailed it gets, I mean, we can be hard on them, but at the same time, we can't. But we have to.
I would agree with that, but it's in the title, a Half-Blood Prince. You have to explain why he's the Half-Blood Prince. They never explained.
Yep.
Why he was called the Half-Blood Prince.
Well, the reveal was just like,
I am the Half-Blood Prince.
They're thinking we wrote it in the potions book. That's all we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And like, I really liked, the scene with Harry.
Yeah, the pincers.
I
love that part.
That whole part was like really good. I mean, there was like really good parts to the movie, but I just felt that they totally dropped the ball with. I mean, I can see maybe cutting some of Voldemort's backstory, but man, come on, they got to explain why he's called the Half-Blood Prince. So I would put Obliviate.
Oh, Obliviate. Yes. I'm sorry. Me. I was so into talking about it that I forgot to get this ready. Obliviate. Oh, and they did. Obliviate.
Yeah, I did like the scene in the cavern with Dumbledore where he's like making the fire, making it rain.
It's like a lasso, a magical lasso.
Yeah. And I thought he did a good job too acting when Harry was like forcing him to drink. He had that shell and he was forcing him to drink. You could really tell he didn't want to. It's just like, oh my goodness, I don't want to drink anymore. It's gross. And I always thought about that in college when I was taking finals. I was so sick of studying. It's just like, no more. I always think about that scene because it's just like, I'm just so full of like, studying. It's just like, I mean, he did a good job on that scene. I thought that was very good.
Just let me finish.
Yeah.
And that shows you that Michael Gambon is a good actor. So that means he made a conscious decision to be a bad Dumbledore.
Yeah, they should have just got somebody else. So I don't know.
By the way, we have a question on here saying that we're coming up on an hour, which we're past an hour, and how long will we be going? We're going till we finish the movies.
That's right. You can watch the rest of it later if you got to get off here.
You can fast forward.
Nah, we're almost. I mean, yeah, we don't have any time set.
We're off forever.
Yeah, but we don't have to. We're almost done. We only have a couple movies left.
Right. And we are doing. Just a reminder. I think you said it already, but we are going to do Fantastic Beasts.
Okay.
All right, and I am putting Half-Blood Prince in Confundo.
Okay.
Just
well,
because
you didn't dip below that Confundo line, did you?
Well, here's my thing. The Confund I feel like which is probably my bad, or maybe I should have just done what you did. But I felt like if I went up below Confundo meant I didn't like the movie at all and like I hated it. I don't hate any of these movies. I'm so happy and privileged that they made them. And the fact that we are nitpicky means that we're fans and we love the storyline and we do appreciate the fact that they made them. But they made some mistakes, honestly. They did a lot of great things, but they also made some mistakes.
They did. And, I'd by golly, every, a couple times a year, I go through and watch them all. And like I said earlier, I mean, I love them all, but there's a couple of them that, if I had my pick, I would watch the other ones before I'd watch those.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Desert Island, which Harry Potter movie would you take?
Yeah, exactly. I would the first two.
Sorcerers, yeah. Sorcerer's Stone, hands down. Okay. So what I had on that one was we're in Half-Blood Prince, we're introduced to the Horcruxes and the story behind that, so I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Dumbledore's death was heart-wrenching. Sorry. Spoiler.
What?
The school mourning him with these.
Yeah. Lumos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, the name of the Half-Blood Prince not being explained was bad. It was supposed to include the Ravenclaw diadem, and it didn't do that. So then we had to just be quickly introduced to it in the last film. And so those, I think they could have included that very easily in the room of requirements, but they didn't.
What did you think about the recasting of Lavender Brown?
Honestly, I don't think I even noticed. Did you?
Well, I mean, because they had a totally different person playing her. Of course, she never really had lines.
Maybe that's why I didn't notice it, because I didn't know.
Not of any, any amount, but I thought she did a good job. I mean, it was like funny, my one, but she did a good job.
Yeah. Who was she before? Who was she before she was that girl?
Well, I don't think she was in there. They just, there was a different actress playing.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Playing Lavender Brown. She was in there, but she didn't really, she didn't have much, if any at all, lines before that. But they just made, instead of keeping the same person, I don't know, maybe the other person, when they went to do lines, wasn't that great. So they got somebody that could play the role better.
Did you put the name of the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's do book 7 or movie 7 part 1. I need to get it centered. Bear with. There it is. Okay. Deathly Hallows part 1. Now, these movies were split into 2, and I truly thought it was purely just for money, because if they really wanted to be accurate, they would have split the other movies to get everything in them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Although, I can't remember, what did those clock in at? Like, were they...
I don't know.
The movies, were they 3 hours each, or were they...
I feel like the last one was. The first part 1 was not 3 hours. There's no way. I would not go camping for 3 hours.
Okay.
I think the second one was verging on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So where would you put part 1?
Part 1, I would put that under Expecto Patronum. Oh, coming back up.
Oh, so you were pleased with it.
I was pleased with it. And that's one of my favorite books. And I remember we were talking a little bit yesterday, again, not to beat a dead horse. We had a little bit of a discussion yesterday while we set things up. But I remember back when we were actually reading the books, you had to wait like 2 years, 2-3 years between books. And when you had Half-Blood Prince, and it's just like, oh my goodness, and you'd reread it and try to figure out like about the Horcruxes and everything. And I mean, it was just like, it was torture waiting 3 years. And I remember
kids these days.
Yeah, when that came out, and it's so different because nowadays you just have it downloaded to your Kindle. You pre-order it and download it. Back then, you'd have release parties, and I remember Sarah and I went to Walmart at midnight to pick it up, and it was like so camaraderie. Everybody's talking and telling about their theories about what was going to happen, and then Buddy, as soon as they started passing out the books, it was dead quiet. People were in the checkout, like reading the book, waiting to check out. It was, yes, they were doing that. Yep. So it was, I remember just having such a good time getting that last book, and I stayed up all night and read through it. And then the movie being split into two, and it was such a kind of a big event movie because it was just like, especially the last part, because you knew that was going to be the last Harry Potter movie. And it was just a lot of good memories with the book and the movie. But yeah, I thought,
yeah, go for it.
No, I just thought that, that it was, I'm glad they split it in two because there was a lot. And I remember reading the book. I was just like, oh my goodness, halfway through the book, they just dealt with the first Horcrux. And it's just like, oh, how are you going to finish all this up? Because you still have all these other ones. And you only have half a book left. But they did. And the movie was kind of like that too, because they split it up. They went through, and I think they ended it like right at Gringotts right before that, didn't they?
That book, because then they pick it back up at the beach house, and they have the stuff from Gringotts. But the first part of the book, I told you yesterday, was excruciating for me to go camping for that long and have nothing really major happen in all that time.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's not a movie thing; that's a J.K. Rowling thing.
Yeah.
So
and yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was like interesting, and they had like a lot of the I think he got introduced to, was it I never can say his name properly, but Xenophilia.
Oh yes, Luna's dad.
Yeah.
We'll just call him Z.
Z. So
he was so sad. The actor who did that, when he's turning them in because he loves Luna. I mean, I think as a parent, that would be hard. I'm not a parent, but to save your own child, would you sacrifice their friends? I mean, I think you would.
Yeah. I mean, I think you probably would. But it was, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Now I will say, okay, so I put that one under Confundo. Oh no, I'm sorry. I put it under Reparo.
Really? Oh, okay. It's just because of the camping, isn't it?
Yes, the camping. Camping did. Even after reading the book, I felt like I was still camping when I went and saw the movie like a year or two later. I love the part when Emma Watson as Hermione is reading the Deathly Hallows story, the three brothers story. I just felt like that the graphics in there and her voice over top of reading it was just so soothing.
Yeah.
But
they did a good job with the animation. I mean, that's one thing they really did. They knocked out of the park with that little animation. So
see, now if they could do that, why couldn't they do a little animation about Snape and the Half-Blood Prince?
Yeah, they could. Heck yeah.
There you go. We fixed it. Okay, let's go on to part 2. Transition.
I Expecto Patronum.
Interesting. Expecto Patronum, and why?
Like I said, it was just I thought they did a good job with it. I like the Battle of Hogwarts. I thought that was pretty awesome. I liked that McGonagall's like, I always wanted to do that spell, like when she did with the statues.
Yeah. And then when they do the superhero landing.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to like. I know the big difference in that movie was like he broke the Elder Wand, like in that, but not in the book. He didn't. He was just like, well, I'll just kind of hide it away. When I die, it'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. So nobody's ever going to like defeat you, like especially if you're going to be in Auror. It's like, yeah, no. But like in the book, and I don't think they did that in the movie. In the book, he used it to repair his wand.
Oh.
But I don't
See,
think
that's the thing is, especially when you get to the end here, it's like, at what point do we stop comparing it to the book?
Well, you don't. I mean, it's a separate.
I
try not to.
If you're going to enjoy the movie fully.
Yeah. I try not to because I realize it's just like the Marvel movies. It's like you have the comic books and you have the movies, and they're two separate universes.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be. But I was just saying that's kind of the big difference in the end. But I do like, Voldemort. I think he's kind of funny in this movie. I mean, just like he has that. You always see that clip with him laughing, like when he's at the Battle of Hogwarts. It's just, I don't know, it cracks me up every time
which Ralph Fiennes was perfectly casted for that role.
Yeah. And man, I'll tell you, Lucius Malfoy, he was looking pretty rough there in the end.
He looked tired.
And then poor Dobby died.
Okay.
And then
Dobby.
There you go.
Oh.
Hedwig.
Do you not have an owl skeleton for back there?
Do I? No, I don't have an owl skeleton. But I mean, I'll tell you what, though. I mean, when you read the book, I mean, it's just like everybody freaking died in that book. It's like, and then even like, yeah, they did. And I remember in that book too, it's like Lavender Brown, she kicked the bucket. And I don't know if that happened in the book or not, but I remember, they were like Fenrir was like on top of her. So I don't know. Maybe she wasn't dead. Maybe she was just going to be a werewolf. But
I think
like they actually, yeah, she looked pretty dead.
I don't think his purpose there was to change her. His purpose there was to her.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Neville stepped up at the end and kind of,
yes, he did.
Gave that speech, and he got the Sword of Gryffindor, the Sorting Hat. Yeah. Snape. Snape.
Oh yes, Snape. I mean, that film was basically ending the franchise for us because there's, I mean, that current time period of franchise. I'm gonna go ahead and put, because we are getting pretty late here. I'm gonna transition, or I'm gonna put up mine on here, and I put it on Expecto Patronum too, because at the end of it, it's kind of like a thank you to them for making any of these.
Yeah. I will say that I really liked Neville too, stepping up and killing the genie. I thought that he did his part. He took care of a Horcrux. Yeah. So.
No, the Dobby part was heart wrenching. I had McGonagall with the soldiers was cool too. All the characters coming together for one epic battle was awesome. Again, where's the centaur from the third book and first book?
Yeah.
That was my major thing. Snape's death again.
What was his name? I can't remember.
Firenze. You just wanted me to
I'm just making you say his name. I just wanted you to say it.
We're gonna call him I don't know, Firenze. That's his name. That's how I've said it. Firenze. Okay. One of my friends is a big Harry Potter guy, and he's probably gonna, if he listens to this, he's gonna be like, Katie's pronouncing that completely wrong. And then the part with Snape's always, I mean, come on. It doesn't get much better than that. All right, so let's do Fantastic Beasts. What did you think of the first Fantastic Beasts?
I would give it a Reparo.
Reparo, okay.
It was good. It was good, but there was definitely some things that I thought
could have been better.
Could have been better with it.
Okay.
I will say of note that I like the casting of Newt. I thought, the good casting on that, and I enjoyed the casting for I'm drawing a blank on the
Oh,
Muggle.
Jacob Kowalski.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
agree
he
with you.
did
I
did a
think
good job.
I'm putting it at Reparo as well.
Okay.
Because I love seeing the wizarding world in a different environment and a different time period, and having a few characters that we already know. Well, not if there are a few characters that we already know, but it's just fun to see them doing the magic with the wands and everything. And the same, like we're watching this, and it's almost like it's a new series, but we already have some inside information because we know all these what the magic spells mean and what to expect from them. And so
Hmm.
it's neat. It's like meeting new friends
Yeah.
in a space that you're accustomed to.
Yeah.
Now, I love the Niffler. I
The
had
Niffler's awesome.
He's awesome. I have Newt on
He's my
here and
favorite.
Jacob, and that's about what I put. I was pretty happy with it. Now let's move on to Fantastic Beasts 2. Um,
Mm. Hmm.
Thoughts, Philip?
I would rank the Obliviate.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean I didn't hate it, but I mean there was a lot of things that like the storyline's starting to get muddled. And anytime I feel like anytime you kind of go back and you do a prequel, I mean you have a really big chance of screwing stuff up and just I don't know. I just thought that they're starting to unravel the story. I mean, I mean the whole thing with Dumbledore having this like brother. I mean, now it may make total sense with the ones coming up. For me, it's just like wow. It's just like, mm, yeah,
Yeah.
not sure about that. It's just
Well, so I agreed with you.
muddy the story.
I put it on Obliviate too.
Okay,
Because I think that whatever they did in Crimes of Grindelwald, they could have compressed it and made these three movies into two good movies, great movies.
yeah.
Um, and so it's kind of like Deathly Hallows could have technically been in one book, but I'm not complaining as much about that. But I think that what they did in Crimes of Grindelwald, they could have done in the first one.
Now, what do you think? What do you think about Nagini? Like, like in that movie where they had the lady that was turned into a snake, and that's. I
I
mean, what do you think about
I
that?
thought it was interesting, but then also really like mind bending that that's who the Horcrux was, and then Neville.
In a way, it's almost like you're trying to shoehorn in characters to explain. It's not a good fit, almost. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just kind of like,
I think Nagini should have just been a snake, but
yeah,
it's an interesting take, and it's almost like she was trapped as the animal after a period of time, right? She couldn't
yeah,
transition.
yeah, right. And then ended up, how did she hook up with Dumbledore or Voldemort?
Voldy.
I mean, obviously they're pretty tight because he made her a Horcrux.
But
I don't
was
know. I
it her
just think that
choice?
was like, they're just trying to shoehorn in characters to be like, oh, look, there's characters from
Yeah,
over here.
yeah.
I will say too, I think that at the end, Dumbledore at the end, he had those handcuffs on. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
that at the end? They could have made that scene a whole lot better if they went to take him off of him. And he just went like, oh, boom. I could have done that anytime. I was just like letting you, because
Yeah.
he's Dumbledore.
Well, Dumbledore does
I think
everything in style, so he should have done it in
yeah,
style.
yeah. I think that would have spoke volumes about his character. It's like, yeah, I was just letting you do this. I could have, because he basically did that in Order of the Phoenix when Umbridge and them came to like arrest him, and he's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm,
Yeah.
you can arrest me, but don't, I had a way out. And he, Fox, boom, he just disappeared. He's like, peace out. Yeah. So yeah, boom. That I thought that would have been a cool scene if they would have just been like, oh yeah, I could have taken these handcuffs off at any time. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got through all of the movies. Did you have questions for me, or were we waiting for another episode for that?
No, I don't think I have any questions. Did you think I
No
had questions?
questions? I thought you were gonna.
Oh, the quiz questions. We'll do it another time because
Gotcha.
We're running over.
Well, there's our tier. Or so sorry. Here's our tier. Right here,
let us know in the comments. Let us know if you disagree or you agree or how you would rank them. I'm interested.
Yeah. And also let us drop in the comments what you would like us to do an episode on. We actually just got 1,900 listens today on our episodes. So that's pretty exciting. We're just shy of 2,000 listens. So we want to get more listeners. If you want to listen to the podcast, go and find it on any podcast platform, and then hit that subscribe button so you can get alerted to our episodes. We also have a YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. We have videos on there. We are slowly getting some full episodes on there so you can listen to them there. And we have a Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter. We are on all the socials, Phil.
We're on all the things.
On all the things.
All
right, so we have gone for an hour and a half now, but that's because it's Harry Potter. And the show's called Muggle with a Mic, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
All right, so that is going to end our Harry Potter film ranking. This will be available as a full-length podcast episode, hopefully, if I can figure out the technology of how to do that. All right, so I'm going to take that off. It's just going to be our faces now. And I'm going to try to get this into the outro. Phil, thank you so much for doing this live video with me.
Oh, thank you. It was fun.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.